Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Will Alexander. I'm the Director of Program Design here at EF Gap Year. Super excited to have you all here. For those who haven't done a session like this before, it is webinar format on Zoom, not the typical meeting format. So if you're looking for the mute button or wondering why you can't see yourself, that's why. So let's jump right in. Today, we're going to go through just a brief introduction to EF and who we are, talk about the goals of the Global Business Strategy in London program, go through some day-by-day detail, and we'll talk about the price, and finally, how and when to apply. As we go through, please feel free to use the Q&A function on Zoom for any questions you have. My colleague Kyle is here to help answer any questions that come up, and I'll check at the end to answer any that we didn't get to during the presentation. So let's jump in. First, I just want to give a little introduction to EF Education First. I know many of you already know us or have actually traveled with us in the past. For those who haven't, just want to give some insight into who we are. What we're known for most in the US is being the educational travel partner for thousands of high schools and colleges. And this is everything from running your 8th grade trip to DC to going to Spain with your Spanish teacher over spring or summer vacation in high school, to traveling to the Dominican Republic in college with a professor to learn about sustainable agriculture, and really everything in between. We like to say that we are globally local. We have staff and offices in 50 countries, including in the UK. London is one of our largest offices. And the last piece people typically like to know is we've been doing this for over 50 years. So we have more experience in connecting people all over the world than pretty much anybody else. And we bring that experience to the intentional design of each one of our programs. One other piece I do want to mention about EF, because it's so relevant right now, is just how all this experience plays into our ability to know what's going on the ground in London and prepare for when we can travel there. EF has actually earned the first ever World Travel and Tourism Council's Safe Travel Stamp due to the focus on not just our travelers' health, but also the safety precautions and protocols in our partner hotels and restaurants and guides and activity suppliers. So we're working really closely with all of our partners to make sure that we're producing the safest possible programs. And we are hopeful about travel this summer because the UK has imposed strict measures right now and has vaccinated actually more of their population so far than any other European country. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout should the situation change. And you can see a little bit more about how we're approaching all of this at that website down on the bottom, efgapyear.com/travel-advisories. So having said that, I want to introduce you a little bit more to EF Gap Year, the folks you'll be traveling with, just one part of the larger EF family. So we build programs for students your age 18 to 22, that allow them to gain global perspectives, challenge them, challenge them by living outside their comfort zones. Sorry about that, very dry here in Boston. We challenge you by living outside your comfort zones, grow personally by having deeper understanding of who you are, help you build life skills like collaboration, communication, and empathy. And year after year, we see that these programs really help just make friends for life. The other important sort of organization to introduce here is the Hult International Business School. This is the school that's really driving a lot of the content for the program. So Hult is a triple accredited international business school, and they're actually the sister school of us here at EF because they're also overseen by the Hult family, the family that started and still owns and operates EF Education First today. We're a family owned and operated company. And their mission, Hult's mission, is to provide the most relevant business education for students. And they really do a phenomenal job at this. Really exciting, just in the last month, they were ranked #2 by Poets and Quants, which I'm sure many of you might already be familiar with, for life-changing experience for the undergraduate program, and actually #1 for employment opportunities after graduation. So really fantastic school, really excited to partner with them on this particular program. Let's get into the other sort of important person here, which is you. So here are the kind of things that you might want that would make you a perfect fit for this program. You might want an educational experience with a clear ROI or return on investment. Now more than ever, we're all looking at the cost of college and education in general and really scrutinizing, is this worth it? You want to know that the time and money that you put in is going to pay dividends for you down the road. And part of that is that you want to go into the workforce with a plan. Are you a business person? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Do you want to work in a small company? Do you want to work in a large company? What are the kind of problems that you want to solve? You want to make an impact. In order to know how to make an impact, you need to know how to solve problems. You need to understand strategy. You need to be able to understand your own strengths and what you bring to the table. And learning about all of these things in a global lens ramps up the scope of what you're able to do and helps you take complexity, difficult problems, and turn them into an actionable plan. And finally, of course, you want to have a fun summer. We've all been stuck on Zoom and in our houses for a while. You want to travel and you want to see the world and you want to have a really good time while making sure that you're doing all of these things. So how does this program help you do all that? First, you'll live like a local in London. You'll be downtown, going to classes, exploring the city, and gaining that global perspective and independence that you need. It also helps you accelerate your understanding of the business world. Some of you have some business experience, maybe in school, but this program is really great for those in the liberal arts sort of background, maybe no business experience, to just go and learn the fundamentals in order to know more about what happens after college. Finally, it'll help you develop the skills, both sort of hard skills like knowing more about finance and how to use a spreadsheet, but also soft skills like communication, collaboration, things that help you succeed both in college and beyond in whatever comes next for you. So let's get into the details of the program. While you're there, your main project will be a live case challenge with the company Unilever. So one of the largest global brands. They own companies like Dove and Ben & Jerry's, to name a couple. And they'll come and present you with a business challenge that they have. You'll work in small groups on a presentation with your team's solution to that challenge, which you'll then present at the end of the program. This challenge and presentation really become the backbone of your workshops, classes, sort of what you're thinking about while you're on the program. So it'll all be interrelated to this Unilever case challenge. In these workshops and classes, you'll learn things like management, marketing, entrepreneurship, finance, and you'll be introduced to what's called design thinking. Design thinking is an iterative process that teams use to come up with solutions to a problem. And that those solutions are based on the user, the actual person, rather than being based on the solution. So for example, a sort of product-focused process might have led Steve Jobs to create a nicer CD player. Maybe I'm aging myself slightly by even bringing up this example, but hopefully everyone remembers CD players or has heard about them. But instead, Steve Jobs focused on the user, and the user is a person who wants to listen to music, who wants to be able to walk around listening to music. That's how you're able to make the sort of innovative leap to something like the iPod. So you'll learn about design thinking, and you'll also learn how to give an effective presentation. Business is not all numbers and spreadsheets. Being able to take an idea and pitch it is crucial. And to be honest, even if you don't end up anywhere near the business world, you need to be able to present your ideas effectively to be successful in whatever comes next for you. But I want to be clear that this program is not just more college. This is not just a study abroad experience. This is a gap program. It's about travel and exploration. The curriculum is one part of the experience, but you'll also get to spend a chunk of your summer living in London. You'll experience the city with a cohort of around 20 students, as well as a full-time EF program director who is a local and will be your guide, your friend, your resource the entire time you're there. These people are absolutely fantastic. You'll also do a guided tour of the city, your first sort of long weekend, your first weekend there when you arrive to introduce yourself to London. And you'll see things like Buckingham Palace and the Tower of London. You'll do a painting workshop as a group that first weekend as well in the very hip neighborhood of Shoreditch, which is fairly close actually to where the Hult campus is. And you'll all also get to go to a theater show in the West End together, which is probably one of the top 2 most iconic places to see a show, along, of course, with Broadway. Classes actually only happen in the mornings, Monday through Thursday, with some group work in the afternoons, because we want to give you as much time as possible to really explore this absolutely amazing city. But you can't go all the way to London and not see Paris. So we've also included in the program a long weekend trip to Paris. So your program director will take the group on the Eurostar to visit the City of Lights. Friday is going to be, you'll leave Thursday night, get to a hotel, and then Friday will be a guided tour day, seeing the sights, having time to explore the Louvre, where of course the famous Mona Lisa lives. And Saturday will be a free day for you and your friends to explore the amazing streets of Paris. From experience, I can tell you this day usually turns into a how many different French things can I possibly eat in one day. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I could certainly go for one of those myself after just having to eat my own cooking a lot. I certainly can't wait to get back to Paris. So that's a lot of the highlights of the program, the types of things you'll be doing, but I want to dive into what a typical day in London during the week could look like on this global business program. Your hotel will be, like I said, in downtown London, very close by the Hult campus. So you'll be able to make your way there for class starting around 9 in the morning. This is the entrance to the Hult building with a really great cafe on the ground floor. So you can grab a last minute coffee if you need it before heading into class. This is actually Daniel. He'll be one of your professors. Originally, he's from Uganda, but he's been living in London for years now and serves as Hult's Professor of Entrepreneurship and Global Innovation. He's also a good example of practicing what he preaches as he runs 2 of his own private businesses. Your classes in the morning will be lecture style and thematic. So you'll have one focused on marketing, another focused on brand development, and important topics like entrepreneurship will have a couple different dedicated lecture mornings. After classes in the morning, you'll have a break for lunch. So take some time to go find yourself some food. I threw in some photos of Borough Market here because it's one of my absolute favorite places. On a nice day, you could take a walk there and get some freshly baked pies or whatever you'd like for lunch. That's just my personal favorite. And then head back to campus for afternoon group work. On your way, feel free to stop by the coffee cart in Hult's campus to fuel up a little bit. I'm realizing now a lot of what I'm putting in here is food and coffee. Maybe this is just my personal way that I like to travel, but hopefully some of you are in the same boat as well. So your afternoons, you'll be working in small groups and applying whatever you just learned in the morning to your Unilever case study. This is the sort of patio area above, I think it's like the 2nd floor in Hult that overlooks a little bit of the city, and you'll be able to work outside on nice days or work in the beautiful campus building to really go through those different stages of the design thinking process. So from empathizing with your user to defining the problem that you want to solve to coming up with as many possible solutions as you can before finally picking a few of them, doing some prototyping and testing, and finally coming up with your presentation and your solution that you want to give at the end of the program. Some afternoons, you'll also actually get a chance to visit some local London businesses. Again, we want to make this the most relevant sort of hands-on business experience that you can get. This is actually one of the businesses that we've visited in the past, Parkour Generations. They're essentially a parkour gym, but they've really become something of a community as well. So we have activities where we visit the gym to meet with some of their founders, and students get to ask questions and interview them based on sort of the same topics that they've been learning. So, how did parkour generations go from an idea to a business? What are the ways that they use to market themselves and get their name out there? What's their plan to scale and grow? And are they opening new gyms? How do they think about that? You'll get to really dive into whatever topics interest you. Of course, if we visit this particular one, we'll also spend a little bit of time trying our hands at parkour as well, because you can't not when you're in an awesome gym space like this. And finally, end of your day, you can end the day, I would suggest exploring a new neighborhood every single night if you can. Meals are independent in this program because, again, this experience is about you getting that independence and growing as an individual. There's no default cafeteria here to serve you all your meals. So take some of your new friends, get out into the city, explore. Maybe you go up north to Camden, which is always a really exciting part of the city. That's the picture on the top there. Or maybe you head back to Shoreditch, where you spent some time in your first weekend. Or maybe you want to stay in and save a little bit of money. There's kitchenettes in your hotel room. My suggestion, if you do that, would be to go shopping for something interesting to cook that maybe you wouldn't be able to find at home. So that's a little bit about what your day in London might look like during this 3-week program. Now let's get into price and more about what's included. So the program price for this Global Business Strategy in London program is $7,900. It includes your flights, so round trip airfare from your home gateway, your home airport to Heathrow and back. Your hotel, you'll be in a shared room with one other student from the group in a hotel room that, like I said, does have its own kitchenette and will be close by to Hult International Business School. Your program director, who's that local, who's with the group the entire time, giving free time suggestions, helping guide you on excursions, and just sort of being that resource there and that friend there the entire time to show you all the hidden tips and tricks. Transportation's included to any of our excursions, including the Eurostar, the train to Paris. Guided tours and activities like the West End show that I mentioned are included, and orientation and safety training when you get there, breakfast at the hotel daily, and some dinners like a farewell dinner and a welcome dinner. Our customer experience team here in Boston, working with them, is a big part of this. They will prepare you and give you everything you need between now and the time you actually depart. 24/7 emergency team for EF. You can always reach us. We have people around the world always working. And then, of course, your Hult lessons themselves. And finally, the certificate that you get and 1 college credit is included if you complete the work. And, the credit and particularly the certificate itself, I think is really, really valuable. No matter what you're looking to do after college, this should go on your resume. It shows that you value investing in your education, that you're comfortable challenging yourself and having an international experience like this. And no matter what field you go into after college, the ability to break down a problem and use the design thinking process to come up with and start and implement a solution is critical, to say nothing of your ability to then talk about it, to then present a solution or present an idea and get people behind you. And this certificate is going to show that you've invested in being able to do that. But even more than that, your skills that you're going to get are going to show that you've really invested and you've really come out and learned a lot. So again, program price $7,900, but I'm really excited for the first time here to sort of announce that for people traveling on the 2021 program, we do have an additional incentive right now. We're able to work with our partners on the ground and can now actually offer this program for $7,500. So $7,500 for the whole program. Really excited we're able to do this. I'm so excited about this program this summer and hope you all are too. Do want to mention what's not included. So passports, of course, you'll be responsible for that. Any bag fees, although highly recommend carry on if you can. Most lunches and dinners will be on your own. And then, of course, spending money for anything else you should be sure to account for. And then through EF, you can add one more thing. You can add our global travel protection for $400. This is essentially our travel insurance. So it covers things like medical insurance, but also flight delays, lost bags, things like that. If you have any questions about what it covers, feel free to talk to your consultant. And finally, it's time to secure your spot. Those are all the details about the program. So I want to go over how to apply and how that process works. So because of the interest we're seeing and just summer coming up quickly, applications are due Monday, February 8th, so about a week and a half from now, with deposits due the following Monday. So anyone enrolled by then, I should mention, will also be part of our risk-free enrollment period, because we know things are a little up in the air right now for the summer for you maybe. And so you'll be able to cancel your spot for a full refund anytime between now and April 1st if you're enrolling and getting your deposit done in this timeline. So if you think you might want to do this, really suggest applying soon. Admissions is rolling decision, so expect to actually hear back within 2 or 3 days, business days of applying. If you get in, we'll send you an invoice for 10% of the total price. That's the deposit that you need. And there are already a handful of people on the program, so there are 15 spots still available. I know we might have a couple people on this webinar tonight who have been accepted, but haven't quite put the deposit down yet, maybe still deciding. I do just want to mention enrollment's not guaranteed until we receive that deposit. If there's any questions you have or things you're waiting on, please do let us know. We're here to help. Having said that, I want to move to the Q&A. Those are all the big pieces of the program. Hopefully that helps just going through that, answering a little bit of questions. I'll stop sharing here now so I can just see if there are any questions that have come in, anything I can help with at all. You know, we're here to make sure that you have everything you need to be able to make this decision to join us on this amazing program. So I'll give people a second if there are any questions. I know typically in the last week, we've gotten some questions just about free time generally. I talked a little bit about this, but do just want to mention as well that a lot of free time, a lot of independence on this program. There's 3 full weekends that you're there in London. Your first weekend, there's a little bit less free time because you're with the group basically the whole time, doing a guided tour of the city. From there, the second weekend in Paris, that's a pretty structured weekend, but half of it is guided and then half is free time in Paris. And then your final weekend is completely free. So it really builds up in terms of the amount of free time you have on the weekends, at least, where that last weekend you'll be able to explore the city more on your own, or if you want to have your own adventure outside London, by that point, you know, you've gotten your feet wet with travel and you'll be able to do something like that. Great question coming in about the Unilever part of this, and if there's any time at the Unilever office as part of the case study. Unilever, we will look into going to the office. Let me look into that for you and I'll get back to you. Usually what they do is they send people to the Hult campus to present some kind of challenge, but we are going to do probably 3 different business visits throughout the program. And we can certainly look into whether Unilever would be open to having one of those. We never promise a particular one because who knows what they're doing at the time, or if anybody's around, or if they're all busy with something, but we can certainly look into that. Either way, you'll definitely be able to connect with people at Unilever just by virtue of doing the case challenge. Great question. Yeah, so one question about roommates in hotels and friends. So definitely if you have any friends you want to come with, you can absolutely request to room with them and we can put you together in a room. If you are thinking about going with anybody you already know, I should mention we do have a bring a friend discount as well. So if you know somebody who you think would be great to travel on this program with as well, if you sort of refer them to the program, bring them along with you, let us know, and both travelers get $150 off the program price as well. So you can get that discount, and then you also have your roommate already there and set up. Great question. Any other things people are thinking about? I'm sure there's a lot of ideas going through your head right now. Don't worry. if you don't get a question out right now, this is what we're here for. So just be in touch with your GAP consultant. They can help talk you through any other questions that come up. We want to make sure you have all the information you need. And you can also, be on the lookout on the website. We're going to keep adding more and more information as we keep developing the curriculum and details of the program, so you can be on the lookout there. So thank you all for taking the time and joining. I'm really excited about the folks we already have on this program. It's going to be an amazing group of people, and certainly hope that you all can join as well. Please reach out. Any other questions that you have, just reach out to your consultant. Thank you all. Have a great night.